All right, hey guys, this video is going to go over a quick review of multiplying polynomials, which you kind of already did when we were adding and subtracting, but I just want to go back and do a very quick review of how you multiply polynomials. So back when we were working with quadratics and factoring, we started by learning how to multiply these. Now we learned two different ways, and I'm just going to quickly go over them because you'll still need to use this next year. You can either use the distributive property. I'll do that way first. So you can take the x times that x, right? And you get x squared. Takes the x times 2, you get 2x. Takes the 3 times the x, which is the 3x. And then 3 times 2, which gives you 6. And then finally, you're just going to combine like terms, and you get x squared plus 5x plus 6. So we just got a trinomial for our answer because it has 3 terms. All right, the second way that we learned how to do it was by making a generic rectangle. So I'll just quickly refresh your memory on how this works. Okay, so we built a rectangle, kind of like a multiplication table, and we put the dimensions, or the two factors, one on each side. So remember, two factors are the two things you're multiplying. So my one factor is x plus 3. I'm going to put that on this side. My other one is x plus 2. Okay, and then we basically just did a multiplication table. So I went and kind of filled this in. So x times x is x squared here. X times 2 is 2x. X times 3 is 3x here. And then 3 times 2 is 6. And then I could just add the sum of all of those parts. And I end up with x squared plus 5x plus 6. So I got the same thing either way I did it. Okay, so you can use either method still. I think this way is a little faster, but you can use either method. All right, so same thing for this one. We're taking a binomial, that's our first one, and we're multiplying it by a trinomial, that's the second one, okay, because it has 3 terms. Now, we didn't do a lot of this earlier in the year, but you still can do it the same way. So I'm going to do it with the distributive property first. So I need to take this x times all 3 of those terms of my trinomial. So I'm going to do x times 2x squared. Well, that gives me 2x to the third. You have to use your exponent rules. And then I'm going to do x times negative x, which gives me negative x squared. X times 4 gives me 4x. Now I need to do the 7 times everything. So 7 times 2x squared is 14x squared. 7 times negative x is negative 7x. And 7 times 4 is 28. Okay. Next thing I need to do is just combine any like terms I have. I don't see any other cubes, so I start with my 2x cubed. Okay, use that. I'm going to do my squares. So I see those. It looks like I end up with 13x squared. Okay, my x's, 4x and negative 7x gives me negative 3x, and then plus 28. So here would be my final answer, and I did that using the distributive property. All right, you could also do this with a generic rectangle, just as a quick refresher. So this time, I'm going to draw my rectangle. My one factor is x plus 7, so I'm going to put that going down here. My other factor has 3 terms, so I need to split this into 3. I've got 2x squared minus x and plus 4. Okay, so now I just fill it out just like a multiplication table. X times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times negative x is negative x squared. X times 4 is 4x. Okay, I'll go to my 7. 7 times 2x squared is 14x squared. 7 times negative x is negative 7x. And 7 times 4 is 28. All right, your last step is you just need to combine things together. So I see 2x cubed. I'll just keep that. Okay, nothing else goes with that. My squares, 14, take away the 1, gives me 13x squared. Okay, here are my x's. I have negative 7x and 4x, gives me negative 3x, and then plus 28. And you guys can see I got the same answer either way I did it. All right, let's try a problem where we use multiplication of polynomials to help us solve it. So we are going to try to find the volume of this rectangular prism. You might recall from 8th grade math that the volume formula for a rectangular prism, or for any prism, is the area of the base times the height. That capital B stands for area of the base. All right, so I am going to use my base down here, this bottom rectangle. Okay, so I need to find the area of that base. I'm just going to kind of draw it out over here. It is a rectangle. It's just kind of slanted just because that's what the picture looks like. So the one side is x plus 2. The other side is x plus 3. Again, this is a rectangle. These are supposed to be right angles. Okay, so to find the area of the base, I have to do x plus 2 times x plus 3, the length times the width. That would give me the area of this rectangle. Now the height has to connect to your two bases. So if this is my base and then this is my other base, the height is going to connect it, and it's going to be right here. So the height of my whole shape is x plus 1, so I'm going to fill that in for the height. All right, now when we have one of these, we did do these earlier in the year, but just as a quick refresher, you can only multiply two of these factors at once. So I'm going to multiply these two to start with. That'll actually give me what the area of the base is. Okay, so I'm going to use the distributive property. I'm going to do x times x. I get x squared plus 3x. Here I get plus 2x and plus 6. Okay, I like to combine stuff right away. So I get x squared plus 5x plus 6. So that's just the area of this pink rectangle right here, or the base. Now I need to times it by the height, x plus 1. Okay, so again, I'm going to use this distributive property. I'm going to start with my x squared times my x. I get x cubed. Then I do my x squared times my 1. I get x squared. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my 5x. 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 1 is 5x. And then finally, I'm going to move on to my 6. 6 times x is 6x. And then 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, I have a pretty long polynomial here. So now I'm just going to combine some like terms and see what I get for my final answer. So I only see one x cubed. So my final answer is going to be x cubed plus, let's put our squareds together. Looks like I have 6x squared plus my x's. Looks like 11x and plus 6. And then feet. This will be the final volume of my cube. So again, volume, this is, that's what we were finding here. All right, now you might be wondering, like, why would this be helpful? So now what if I actually told you what x equaled? What if I actually told you that x was 6 feet? Could you actually find me the volume of the cube pretty quickly? Well, you could. You could come down to your polynomial that you just wrote here, and you could plug in a 6 everywhere where there's an x. So I'd plug in 6 cubed plus 6. I'd put some parentheses, and I would have to do 6 squared plus 11 times 6, and then plus 6. Right, so when I do this, 6 cubed is actually 216 plus 6 squared is 36 times another 6 is still another 216. Okay, plus I get 66 plus 6. Okay, now I'm just going to add those up together real quick. And it looks like I end up with 504 feet for my volume of that cube, if x was 6. Now I did forget that since this is volume, I need to put the cube symbol here too. All right, so after these 3 lessons, you guys should be able to add polynomials like this. You should be able to subtract them. If I give you something like this, you should be able to multiply. Hopefully that was review. And then you should be able to apply what you learned about polynomials to help you solve area and volume problems. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher.